being able to engage through the chat. So what we're going to be talking about today. What are you worth? Are you as valuable as a dollar? And who benefits most from your formal education? So today we're going to talk a little bit, and of course it's going to be more than one series for this. We're gonna do another part to this, because of course we can't get everything in that manner of time. But I will tell you that I'm going to be touching on some things this week, and then next week it's going to be about how to increase your value and things of that nature. So again, what are you worth? Are you as valuable as a dollar? I'm gonna go ahead and flip through a couple of slides here, and then I'm gonna kind of pull it down and talk here just a little bit with everybody about some different things. So what is considered value? Are you as valuable as a dollar? Whose higher education is this? Are you holding your value? Those are going to be some things that we're going to be talking about here. I'm going to be asking some of you guys to engage with me if you don't have a problem with that. And of course, I've got about 14, 15 years, sometimes I lose track, of experience as a business owner. I've done everything from brick and mortar to work from home. I'm a six-figure marketer. I'm a mindset trainer, and I am a national trainer. And really just love helping people as much as I can as you build your business. So let's look at a quote, because we always like to start with quotes, right? And the first quote we're going to have today is, your job is a place to develop your gift. You can't lose your gift. That's your value. So keep that in mind and understand, when we talk about value, ladies and gentlemen, I know that value is not just value is not just what you make at work, what you make with your business, what you make with some form of success. We know that value could be, I'm a mom, I'm a dad. There's all kind of ways that you can create value for yourself. Because this is an entrepreneurial training, we're going to stick mostly to that. But I want you to understand that I do understand that by all means, I understand that if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you're a stay-at-home dad, if you're a person that says, hey, look, the most valuable thing in my world is my family, that's totally fine. I get it. Like, you create value in whatever you want to create value in. But what I want you guys to understand is how you create value in yourself, how you develop value in yourself, because what? That leads to confidence. And all my trainings are going somewhere. And I need to create confidence in the people who don't have confidence, posture in the people who don't have posture, because when it comes to sales and being successful as a business owner, you've got to have those things in place. If you don't have those things in place, you can get knocked off your horse. I just want you guys to focus on that. So when I say your job is a place to develop your gift, if you've never had a job, if you don't have a job, any of those things, why am I talking about your job? Because years ago, I used to think a job was, hey, if you have a job, then that's kind of a bad deal. You should be working for yourself. I used to think that when I first became an entrepreneur. And I know a lot more about the job environment, and I've matured and gotten better at being a trainer and understanding certain circumstances. And I no longer feel that way. I haven't felt that way for years, but I always want people to live their best life. And living your best life is you doing what you're gifted to do. And your job is a place to develop your gift. It is. And jobs are synonymous where you have to use a job the way your job is using you. So let me break that down a little bit. So anybody that has a 9-to-5 on the line, whether you like your 9-to-5 or you don't like it, it doesn't matter what your scenario is with it. If you have a 9-to-5, then there's only 3 ways out of that circumstance. The 3 ways are either you're going to get fired, you're going to quit, or you're going to retire. Those are the 3 options in that scenario. So every company, if it's a major company of any size, they've got people who work there who are trying to figure out who they're going to hire next and who they're going to fire next. Yes or yes? So essentially, that company that you work for has somebody making plans on your future, whether you're part of that conversation or not. So my question to you is, are you and your family discussing what your future is without that company? Because they've got somebody sitting in the dark room trying to figure out who they're going to let go next. Your name may not be on the list today, but eventually it will be on that list, or you're going to quit that job or retire first. That's the coin toss there that you're dealing with. So if you have a skill set that they're paying you for there, my question is, at what point do you take that skill set or that gift or that however you have that label, at what point do you do that with your own time and create your own value with it? Because that job is using you until they find somebody that'll do double the work that you do for half the pay. As soon as that person comes along, they're gonna let you go. Not because they don't care about you, or not because you don't have value, not because it's some mean, nasty place you work for, but because they have a business model. And when a business is running, they're looking at their bottom line. If I can get William to do double the work as another employee for half the pay, why wouldn't I hire him and get rid of the person that's not doing it, that's not working as well? It's only common sense, right? So when are you going to say, this job is paying me $25, $35, $45, $50 an hour, whatever it is you get paid. But if I did what I'm doing for them on my own, I could literally make $100 an hour or $200 an hour. So at what point do you have the option of hiring yourself like they have an option of hiring somebody else and getting rid of you? So when we say your job is a place to develop your gift, you have to figure out what you're gifted to do. And sometimes going to school doesn't help you find that gift. Sometimes it does. If I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, I got to go to school. I may find out 10 years into that environment or that job that's not what I want to do with the rest of my life. Because I found my gift. Once I find my gift and we've got that going on, now I have to question myself is, am I going to utilize my gift for somebody else and get paid a nominal fee for it, or am I going to do that on my own? Am I going to do that on my own? So you can't lose your gift, but you can be fired. Nobody can't really take the value away from you that was given to you by whatever God you serve. So the first thing we have to do is realize whether or not we can, right? Whether or not we can find out what our gift is and work within that space. And then we can say, hey, look, you know what? This job, I'm going to keep this job because it pays my bills. But what I'm going to do is the money that I'm making outside of my bills, I'm going to use it to develop myself and put myself in a position to do what I love to do for this company, but do it for myself so that the profit is mine and the business is mine. Does that make sense? That makes sense? Get in the chat. Let me know it makes sense, right? So let's look at something else. Okay, so let's look at the definition for value and for the definition for worth real quick. So on value, we're talking about the regard that something is held to deserve, worth, or usefulness of something, right? Value. A person's principles, let me move this. A person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. Value. Ask yourself about some things that you value. Think about, right, like take some time while we're here right now and think about some things that you value and how important they are to you. Whether it be your children, whether it be your spouse, whether it be a family member, maybe it's an heirloom, maybe it's your vehicle, maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your savings account. But you've got something that you value. Think about what it is you value and ask yourself, wherever you're at, whatever you do for a living, like, do your customers, do the place you work for, do they treat you like you treat the thing that you value? Do they treat you like the thing that you value? Because if they don't, you have to start asking yourself, am I really being valued by this person? Am I really being valued by my customers? Am I really being valued by the place that I go to work to every day? See, because in order to increase your value, you have to feel valuable yourself. And so we talked about soul cleansing a few weeks ago on the training. And the soul cleansing we talked about was because sometimes we feel invaluable because of some things that happen to us. Because, things can happen to us in our life. We could be taken advantage of in our life. We could be mentally abused, verbally abused or physically abused. And things can happen that make us have low self-esteem and we don't have value in ourselves. And once we are in a situation where we don't have value in ourselves because some man or woman has done that to us, or put us in a position where we feel like that ourselves. So let me back up before I say that, because really self-esteem is your esteem about yourself. So really nobody can make you feel that way, but things can happen to you. People can do things to you so that you start to feel that way about yourself. And sometimes you need to see somebody about that. But the question is, how does the next person treat you, and how do you allow them to treat you based on how you feel about value? Is the next man or woman taking advantage of you because of that? Is the next job taking advantage of you because of that? Because they devalue you. So somebody write in this chat, if you're transparent enough to do that. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Have you ever been let go from a place and felt so bad about it that the next place you work for, you'll kind of accept anything because you feel like you feel bad about the fact that you were fired at the other place. And even though they may have fired you and you hadn't done anything really wrong, they deserved that. They may have done it to clean house. They may have done it because they found somebody that they can pay less. Like you may have been overqualified actually for that position, but they let you go. But you didn't feel bad, even though you were let go. You still feel like you were the one that did something wrong. And the next job you go work at, you kind of walking on eggshells because you thinking like, I don't want to get fired from this job. So if that's been, if that's happened to you, just yes in the chat, because I'm trying to get you guys to wrap your mind around really what value is, because we hear so many words in the English language that's like, hey, value and worth and money and we think we understand it because we hear it so much, but really we don't. If you consider yourself to be valuable, ask yourself, how come nobody is dealing with me like I'm dealing with the things that I value? If that's your scenario. If everybody is dealing with you that way, then great. You already got that value, created that value, all those different things. And Melissa, I see, yeah, I got you. Not a job, but a relationship, and it's all relevant, because even these things are relevant when I'm doing the training, because what happens to you in your home with your family can affect how your business runs. What happens to you in your business can affect what you do at home. So let's not at all misunderstand when we say we're talking about becoming entrepreneurs, that all that conversation is going to be about business, because that's not a reality. The reality is if you got a well-running business and you come home one night and your spouse decides to divorce you, that's going to affect how your business runs. That's going to affect how your business runs. If your business is failing, if you're dealing with all kinds of different financial situations, if COVID-19 or some other situation had your business going under, that's going to affect how you deal with your spouse and your kids at home. Because it's all psychological. And when things happen to us, we start to feel like we're invaluable sometimes. So let's look at worth, right? Let's look at worth. Sufficiently good, important, or interesting to justify a specified action, deserving to be treated or regarded in the way specified. Having income or property amounting to a specific sum, and then when we look at now, it's high value or merit. High value or merit. So again, let's look at worth. What are you worth? And when I ask you what are you worth in this sense, I haven't gotten to the money yet. I mean as an individual. Not what do you have in the bank, not your stocks and your bonds, not your house, not your vehicle, not whatever heirlooms you have that are valuable, but what's your worth to your customers? What is your worth to the place that you work at? How do they value you? Are you as valuable as $1? So let's calculate our worth, right? So how much are you worth per hour? How much are you worth per day? How much is your education worth? How much are you worth per day? How much is your education worth? How much are you worth per hour? All important things. So I've got clients that are fitness trainers, and you'll see on the next slide when I mention some things, right? Those fitness trainers charge their clients per hour. So I want you to go ahead and start calculating this for yourself. Like if you have a 9 to 5, what are you worth per hour? What are you accepting per hour? What are you worth per day? 8-hour shift, 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes back. That's 9 hours of your day. 9 hours of your day is being attributed to that 9 to 5. What are they paying you per day to do that? Real estate agents. You're going to hear me talk about them on the next slide when I ask about the percentage that they're making per house. 9 to 5 is how much per hour. Fitness trainers, how much per hour? Because your clients are charging you. I mean, you're charging your client monthly, and you're spending a certain amount of time with them per month for that amount of money. So if you're charging that client $270 a month, and you're meeting them at the gym 2 or 3 times a month for 2 hours, that's 6 hours you're spending with that person. Plus, that's not talking about putting together nutrition plans and doing all kinds of other things, right? Right? And I'm looking at the chats, guys, right? Not enough. Carol Walker agrees, not enough. Ursula, I'm assuming you meant 70 a day, not 70 cents a day, $70 a day.
I hope not.
That's like slave labor, right? So, and check this out. I'm asking this question because sometimes you have to have this conversation with yourself to realize it. Because guess what happens? We get wrapped up into what we're getting paid and that we make enough money to pay our bills. And we get so caught up in the rat race sometimes that we forget to actually pay attention to, hey, you know what? I went to school and got an education. And because I went to school and got this education, and I'm now working at some place, I'm paying my bills, I'm putting some money in my savings, so I guess I'm fine. Well, because you're making X amount of dollars and they may be paying you well, that still don't mean that that's your value. That still don't mean that that's your worth. How much is your education worth? So some of you all have actually got a $100,000 degree. If you look at your associates and your bachelors and your masters, like what did you spend and what are you paying back in student loans? And I need you to ask yourself, as you're calculating your value and your worth, is the company that you're working for making more money off of that degree than you are? If you paid to become a nutritionist, if you paid to become a fitness trainer, and you paid for classes and you went out of town and you stayed in hotels and whatever it took you to become a fitness trainer, whatever it took you to become a realtor, whatever it took you to become a network marketer, whatever it took you to do any of those things, look at that dollar value and ask yourself, are you making what it cost you to do that? I mean, even a business owner, when they go to sell their business, is told by their attorney or their business consultant that you should be selling it 3 times what it makes a year. 3 times what it makes a year. So if you paid $100,000 for your education that you have, and a company's paying you $70,000 a year to work there, you got to ask yourself, I'm being paid right back the money for my degree, plus I'm getting paid for my time per hour because your time is worth money. So I'm looking at these chats, and some of you guys are not getting the job that you went to school for because you're overqualified and that position is not open somewhere. See, this is why I implore people to say, hey, as an entrepreneur, what else can I do to use this skill set myself? I think at the end of last week's training, some of you guys stayed on for a little bit afterwards, and we talked about a client of mine that has a doctorate, and what she does for a living is she works for a pretty famous hospital, and her job is to plug the holes to make sure that the hospital is not losing money. So anything that's happening, whether they're being overcharged for something, whether they're undercharging for something, whether doctors or physicians are billing incorrectly and they're taking the brunt of the deal, all those different things, her job is to make sure that that stuff is good. So I sat down with her because she said, look, I like what I do. I'm trying to figure out what to do for a business because I got a doctorate and this is what I do for a living, but I don't feel like I'm making enough money. And a client of mine is making less than $80,000 a year doing that. So what we started structuring for her was, okay, first of all, the skill set that you have, there's not a whole lot of people who do it. So let's look at authoring a book. Because if you write a book, when you write this book, you can now become an expert in that field, which will get you more business as a consultant in that industry. So the job is to create a consulting company for this young lady so that she can now consult with hospitals all over the country, not just work for one that pays her $80,000 a year, but to consult with hospitals all over the country to do what she does. She worked from home and become an authority in that space by writing a book. And see, now that degree that hangs on a wall pays you several different ways. It pays you in the space of your business running, which could be however much money, because the sky's the limit on that. And then it pays you residually, because once you start writing books, now your book sales are going to pay you residually as people buy books. And that book is being written based on the education that you received in a prestigious college and you have your doctorate. Does that make sense? So the question is, how much are you worth and what kind of value are you creating for yourself? Because see, once you realize that you're being underpaid and you're being undervalued, your brain will come up with ideas for you to grow and build and get better. Because see, now you're looking for a way to get better because you realize now that, you know what? I'm not making enough. What can I do about that? So as a realtor, what percentage are you worth? You're making a couple of points on a real estate deal. Got it. That's the real estate industry. The question is, if you're a really good realtor, is there a way for you to offer bigger houses so that your percentage that you get ends up being more money? Is it time for you to say, as a realtor hanging my license with this brokerage, at this point, if I'm that good of a realtor, should I look at getting some people to work with me and I become the broker so that I can now receive money off deals that other people are doing, plus close the deals that I close? But see, in order for me to do that, I have to see and realize that I'm not being valued enough in the space that I'm in. I haven't created enough worth in the space that I'm in. Network marketer, what compensation level are you being paid at? What compensation level are you being paid at? What? Are you being paid in the beginning as a new network marketer, in the middle, on the end? And are you being paid in all the different ways that you can be paid in that company? Are you in a company that pays you residual income, plus pays you advanced commissions when you market a plan, plus pays you overrides when the people that you introduce to the company make sales? Have you, as a network marketer, created a big enough business that you can leverage that business and now use the free time and the money that you're producing to open up a separate business on the side, even if you have somebody else run that business and it's just a form of income? As a fitness trainer, what dollar amount per hour are you worth? Are you working at a gym and that gym is charging $270 a month for personal trainers and they're giving you $90 a month and keeping the rest? Because I know some of those. Are your clients not paying you enough because you don't realize your value? So even though you've got them losing weight, you've got them getting in shape, you got some young lady who's getting married in 3 months looking the way she wants to look in her dress. You got some man that's on some challenge that's saying, hey, I want to lose a certain amount of weight because I'm having medical issues and my doctor is saying I need to lose weight. Did you help that person lose weight? Are you creating value and then being able to increase your price because the results that you produce create value and worth for you and what you do for a living? Nine to fiver. What dollar amount per hour are you worth? If you're not being paid what you're worth, is there a way for you to take some programs and up your education so that you can go up the pay scale? Is what you do for that company, are you passionate enough about doing that that you really to risk going into business for yourself and making everything you can make as opposed to taking what they pay you? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself as you move forward. You've got to know how to calculate your value as you build your business. So I'm gonna change up on you guys just a little bit because I want to talk to the men and the women, right? So for a man, value is going to be what he does for a living. For some women, it's going to be that, but for most women, it's going to be a family deal, right? Their mother is going to be like their kids come before their job. Their kids come before pretty much anything. It's normally, the woman is normally like, hey, I want to make sure our family is good. Now you've got some major, women that are serious about building a business, and like some women put their kids on the back burner. It's true, it happens. Some men are more about the kids than about what they do for a living. It happens. But for the most part, looking at value, a man is going to normally look at what I do for a living creates value, makes me a valuable person. So and I'm bringing this up because I want you to understand where that term is coming from in your mind, because some people aren't going to get it. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to understand this value thing, this worth thing, but you know what? Like, that stuff is not as important to me as my children. That's how some women are going to think. So if your children are what's important to you, then you got to play this game with your mind. And the game that you have to play with your mind is, if your kids are that important, that means that you probably want to spend time with them. That means that you probably want to do things for them, like put them in a specific kind of school, put them in a specific kind of sport, take them on different vacations. Maybe they say maybe one of your kids say, let's go to Paris next summer, and you can't really afford to go to Paris. So if that's your passion, you got to tap into your passion, ladies. So you got to say, okay, I'm valuable here. I've got an education here. My kids want things that I can't afford. So what can I do as a strong woman to put myself in a position to give my children what they want? Because I'm not making enough here, but I've got the credentials and the gift and the skill set to make a specific amount of money, but that's not what's being given to me. And it's not being given to you because you're not demanding that thing. So you got to ask yourself, if you're a realtor, like what am I making per sale? And do I need to sell bigger houses, or do I need to open up my own real estate company? And if you're thinking, well, wait a minute, if I open up my own real estate company, then I'm gonna lose time with my kids. And guess what? You gotta take one step back to take 2 steps forward. That's part of success. And believe me when I tell you, your family will take those steps with you as long as you keep them in the loop on why you're taking those steps. If you're a woman and you're a network marketer and you're saying, you know what? I'm not making enough money as a network marketer. Well, we know that there's no ceiling in most network marketing companies. So if you're not making enough money, it's probably because you're just not doing enough work. But you have to ask yourself, if I start isolating myself and blocking time off, can I create enough value and worth for myself so that I can give my kids the things that they want? So I can move into that bigger house with that bigger yard that my kids want. So I can move into a better area so that my kids can go to a better school like I want, right? You have to ask yourself that question. If you're a woman and you're a fitness trainer, the same thing. What are you charging per client? And are you undercharging because you don't see the value and the worth in yourself? And of course, if you got that job, the same thing. Are you allowing them to pay you whatever they want because you're scared to speak up because you don't want to lose that job, and you're not taking advantage of the gift that you've been given to do a specific thing? And if you're asking yourself, what is that gift? What is that skill set? How can I figure it out? Let me tell you, it's what you would do for free. If what you do for a living you would do for free, then that's your gift. If what you do for a living and what you're doing with your time right now you wouldn't do for free, you are in the wrong place. And I apologize if you went to school for that and you're holding on to that degree because you're saying, I can't go to school for nothing, I got to do this. Let me tell you, find your gift and your passion and do that. You'll be happier. Even if in the beginning you make less money, you'll get over the fact that you got a degree hanging on the wall that you're not using once you're in a different space. And you're happy about getting up in the morning and going to work. Or you're happy about getting up in the morning and opening that business. Because if you're running a business right now, based on the degree you have, and now you don't want to be doing that, let me tell you what's worse than going to work for somebody else and you don't want to be there. It's owning a business that you don't want to own. You don't want to be in that place. You don't want to be in that place. So some questions about your value and what you're worth. So I need you guys to jump on the chat for me in a second. Everybody tell me what that is. What's that? Just jump in the chat and tell me what that is. I see it popping up. $5 bill. It's a $5 bill, guys. $5 bill. That's right. That's right. $5 bill. So this $5 bill is worth $5, right? We all know that, right? So if I go to the store and something costs $4.96 after tax, can I pay for it with this? If I go to the store and I go to buy something and it costs $4.96 after tax, can I pay for it with this? Yes, I can. Of course I can. Stupid question, right? So if I go in the store and something costs $3.95, can I pay for it with this? Absolutely I can. Yep. Thank you for engaging with me. So let's say take this $5 bill and I just ball it up like this, right? Ball it up, ball up the $5 bill and just, right? If I walk in the store and something costs $4 and I got a $5 bill and it's balled up, right? Can I still buy the $4 item with it? Absolutely I can. Good stuff. Good stuff. So if I take this $5 bill, right, and I rub dirt on it and I throw it on the ground and I step on it and I run it over with my car and I do all of this crazy stuff to it. I mark it up. I take an ink pen and I draw pictures on it. Can I walk in the store and buy something that costs $3.35 with that still? Absolutely I can. Absolutely I can. So the same $5 bill. So let's just say I take this $5 bill and I walk in the store and I'm about to buy something. I say, you know what? I'm gonna tear it in half. You know what? Tear it in half. I want to buy something that costs $4 and I give them the 2 halves. Can I still buy it with the $5 bill? Absolutely I can. Why can I still buy this with my $5 bill, guys? Why can I still do this with my $5 bill? Simply because whether I step on this, whether I tear it up, right? Whether I crumble it up, whether I run it over with my car, whether I write on it, it's still worth $5. So some of you guys on this line tonight, y'all been stepped on. Y'all been ripped up. You've been molested. You've been abused. You've been told you weren't worth anything. You've been fired. You've been furloughed. You trained people and then been fired. You helped people and then been talked about. You've been left behind. Some of y'all been ran over. Some of y'all been stepped on. Some of y'all been written on. Some of y'all been tore up, slapped, punched, kicked, homeless. But guess what? You still worth the same thing. Because none of that doesn't decrease your value. And the interesting thing about you is this $5 is only going to be $5. You can increase your value. You can increase your value. So even though the same thing that happened to this $5 bill can happen to you, the $5 is only still going to be worth the $5. You can be worth double what you are now. You can be worth triple what you are now. You can quadruple your value even after the same thing that happened to this $5 bill has happened to you. So the question is, when do you stand up and say, you know what? I'm more valuable than this, right? And see, you don't have to go to your boss and be disrespectful and say, I'm more valuable than this, you're gonna pay me more money. No, first thing you gotta do is you gotta get in the mirror and say that. Because you have to make sure that your actions require you to have that kind of value. And then you've got to be able to say, hey, look, I'm really kind of worth more than what you guys are paying me here. So I want to have a conversation with you guys about maybe me getting a raise. Yeah, I don't mind taking on more responsibility. But if not, I got somewhere else I can go. Now be mindful to find somewhere else to go before you do that. But it's time, guys, it's 2020. It's time that you gotta say, you know what? I've got more, because you've been through too much, right? You've been stepped on, you've been kicked, you've been told off, you've been fired, you had doors slammed in your face, people hung up on you. Like, all of the bad things that happen to the people that are wealthy have happened to you, but you haven't gotten the wealth, but you've gotten the drama. So my question to you is, at what point do you say, okay, I've been drugged through the mud like the person who's got all the benefits to show they have, right? I've got the scars, but I don't have the wealth. I've got the abuse, but I don't have the respect. And sometimes it's simply because you haven't asked for it, because you think that somebody's going to just give it to you. So Dr. Miles Monroe and T.D. Jakes both have a saying that I love to talk about, and it's, God never gave us tables and chairs, and God can be whatever you want it to be, guys. So if you're on this line and you don't believe in the same God I believe in, let me tell you something. If you know anything about me, you know that doesn't even matter to me. You believe in what you believe in. Absolutely. Whatever you consider to be your God, whoever that is, whatever that is, that God didn't make tables and chairs. That God made trees because that God put into you the ability to cut down a tree and make a table or a chair. So the fact that you're still here lets you know that you still got something to do. You know that you got a gift, you know that you got a skill set, you know that you're valuable, but somebody's not treating you like you deserve to be treated, whether it be that 9 to 5, whether it be the customers that you have. And you got to ask yourself, is it you not requiring to be treated a specific way? I got some men friends, I got some women friends that's in relationships where they're not being treated the way they want to be treated, but it's not that person's fault that's treating them that way. It's their way for not demanding to be treated differently. So if you got a job that's not paying you enough, at what point do you say, look, I've weighed my options, and if you guys can't afford to pay me what I'm worth, I'm going to have to go somewhere that is? Does that make sense? If your clients aren't paying you enough, you got to up the price and not be fearful of losing that client. If you're in a network marketing company and you're saying, I'm not making enough money, well, there's no cap on what you can make in a network marketing company. So my question to you is, why aren't you getting residual income and have a team building and have money coming in from whatever it is they're selling? How come you're not selling more of that? And if it's because that you're not in the right space, then maybe you need to get in the right space. But if you're not valuable enough, you got to start to ask yourself, whose fault is that? Because I know some very unintelligent people who are making more money than me. Because their intelligence is without where the money comes from, is that they may not be smart, but they know what they're worth. Does that make sense? So the question is, do you know how much you're worth? And if you've been through more, what this $5 bill went through and more, why is it that you let what happened to you devalue you, instead of saying, no, I've been through some things, so now that I've been through some things, I'm worth more. See, coal, when it goes through the pressure, it becomes a diamond, it's worth more. See, coal ain't worth nothing. But when you put a lot of pressure on it, now it's a diamond, and it's one of the most, like they cutting off arms and legs in Africa about something that's worth nothing in the beginning. You guys follow that? So my question is, if a piece of coal that's worth nothing can, after pressure, be worth enough to cut somebody's arm and legs off, why aren't you worth more than your worth? And if there's somebody depending on you, why aren't you creating more value for yourself than what you have done thus far? Men, because I spoke to the women about the children and them valuing family and using that as a catapult to get more out of life. So men, we know that before women were introduced in the Bible, work was introduced in the Bible. No disrespect, women. I'm just telling you guys how it was, right? I'm not saying you guys are less than work. So anybody knows me certainly know I don't mean that. What I mean by that is in the Bible, it's work, and then, right, women were introduced in the Bible after work was introduced in the Bible. Because for a man, he's not going to see value in a woman until he at least sees value in himself, because what he does for a living creates value in him. That's why a man that can't get themselves together can't do much for you. That's why a man that can't get themselves together can't focus on you, because they're trying to get themselves together, and it's hard to feel like a man that wants to take care of a woman when you don't feel like a man because you don't have your stuff together. Does that make sense? So, man that's saying, I want to create value for myself, he's got to find a space that he can be valuable in, even if he doesn't have a college degree. And if you happen to be with that man, then instead of you saying, hey, what about me? What about me? Make me important. What you've got to do is help that guy get himself together, because once he got himself together, he's going to focus on you. That's what's going to happen. But until he goes through, until he gets himself in a position to where he feels a man based on his career, he's not going to focus on you because he feels less than a man. So the best thing you can do for him is say, let me help you get yourself. What can I do to help you get yourself in a position to where you feel like what you're doing for a living has got you feeling the way you need to feel? Because when that part happens, then he'll honor you, respect you, and deal with you a completely different way. So some of the women on the line probably have already dealt with that. Some of the men on the line have probably already dealt with that. And why am I talking about that? Because whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a network marketer, whether you're a realtor, or whether you have a 9-to-5, doesn't matter which one it is, or if it's all of them. If you don't feel valuable, you're not going to ask for what you're worth. If a woman doesn't feel like she's worth anything, she'll accept anybody's proposal. If a man doesn't feel like he's valuable, he'll ask to marry anybody. If you don't feel valuable, you'll let your client give you whatever they can afford to pay you instead of giving you what you're worth. When you don't feel valuable, you'll take a job and you'll let them pay you and treat you any way they want to, because you want that job to give you what they're giving you so that you can at least pay your bills. Instead of saying, no, I'm worth more than that. I've got more value than that. And see, the minute that you do that, your mindset will change. So some women, right, who are on here, jump in the chat, and when you set standards for yourself, you start to date less, don't you? Because the options are less when you set different standards. Because now, so you disqualifying people before they ever even get close enough, because from afar, you can see that they don't qualify because you got standards, right? See, we think it's harder when we say, well, I got value, it's going to be harder to get. No, it's not harder. It actually makes the selection easier because so many people don't qualify. So if you call me and you say, hey, what do you charge for? I'm not going to say, what can you afford? That's not my value. How do I answer that question by saying, what can you afford? I don't give a damn what you can afford. This is what I charge. If you can't afford that, then you're not my prospect. You a suspect. You got to find somebody that charges less because I know what I'm worth. And the minute that you start doing that with your 9 to 5, the minute you start doing that with your network marketing company and saying, you know what, I'm not going to be at this level anymore because it doesn't make me enough money. Because see, you can't go to them and say, pay me more. You got to do the work to get to the next level. You got to recruit people and lead people so that they, so let me spend 2 minutes breaking that down before we close out. On the network marketing side. Leadership versus being a manipulator. You building a team. Leadership is you convincing somebody to do the best thing because it's best for them, it's best for their family, it's best for the entire team. So I'm a part of an organization called Team New Vision in network marketing, which is a part of a company called Legal Shield. So if the person that works for me, my mentor, which is Mike Hume, says to me, hey, Dunbar, you should be doing this. I know based on my relationship with him that he's telling me to do that because it's better for me, it's better for my family, it's better for Team New Vision, it's better for Legal Shield. So he wants what's best for the whole deal. See, a manipulator wants what's best for them, not what's best for the whole team. So if you're in network marketing and your business is not working the way it should, you call yourself being a leader because you're pushing people around and you're telling them they should be doing this and they should be doing that because they can make this kind of money. The question is, are you telling them to do it because they make money for you, or are you telling them to do it because they make money for them? Are you telling them because you're running for a position or a bonus and you want them to work so that you can get your bonus, or are you doing it so that you can see them do better even if it means that they pass you? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Are you leading or are you manipulating? Are you leading or are you manipulating? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Are you overcharging your clients more than your value? Are you telling them they need to do specific things to see you more days a week because you need more money, or because it's better for them to see you more times that week? Are you selling somebody a house that's too big and you know it's too big, but you know they got the money to pay for it and you want a higher percentage? So instead of you finding a client that needs a bigger house and working your business with ethics, you're going to find a person that can afford a bigger house that don't need one to put them in that house and manipulate them so you can get a bigger check. See, that's the difference between leading and manipulating. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying here by thinking that I'm saying go take advantage of people, because that's not adding value, that's devaluing yourself. So understand the difference. Two different things there, right? So next week when we get on, we're going to talk about more about how to figure out where your value lies, right? We're going to talk about some things you can do to increase your value. And we're going to talk about understanding what value means outside of monetary. Because guys, you know, most of my training is mindset training. And I train on mindset because the money will come once you change your mind. I don't have to train you on how to make money. I want to train you on how to think, because when you know how to think, I'm not going to have to tell you how to make money. Once you know how to think, you will make more money. So it's really just about changing your mindset first. That's why I like so much when Brian Carruthers came out with training on how to attract money, because for all of our lives, we've been taught that, well, I'm not chasing money, and money is not good. It's not good to do things for money. What do you mean? I'm confused. First of all, when you change your mindset, you don't have to chase money. You can attract money. We are grown on this line, so we pretty much know that anything you chase, you can't chase nothing that's not running. So if you're chasing money, that means you feel like in your mind that it's running from you, because why would you need to chase it? if you're attracting money, right, you should be able to stand still when money comes to you. People should be asking to join your team based on your leadership. People should be asking to be one of your clients based on how they see you working with another client. People should be calling you and saying, hey, I need a house. You sold one of my friends' houses, or you helped them get to a house, and that's the house of their dreams. People should be calling you because of the way that you conduct yourself. So that's money coming to you. The problem is you're chasing money. Ever chase a woman, men? She hard to catch, ain't she? You know why she running? Because you're chasing her. It's just fun, right? Why give in? If he gonna chase me when I run, then why not keep running, right? It's not until you stop chasing her and find somebody else, and then she say, who that girl he with? And now they want you because you stopped chasing them and you found somebody else. Same thing, vice versa. I ain't beating up the women. Same thing the other way around, right? Anything you chase will run. You got to learn how to stand still and be valuable enough for the income to come to you. People should be calling you with deals. After you picked up the phone and it was 20 pounds for so long, at what point does that 20-pound phone start ringing with business for you? That's the question. When you give out your business cards and you keep asking for referrals, at what time does your phone ring and it's a referral because you put in enough work and you're trustworthy enough and you've added enough value that people want to do business with you? At what point at your 9 to 5 do they come to you and offer you a raise and offer you a different position because you've done such a great job at the position that you have? And if that's not happening, when do you decide to leave because you're worth more than that? Those are the questions that you got to ask yourself. Because if it's not happening, guys, then you're not creating value. If it's not happening, then the worth that you're feeling like you're worth is not there. That degree on your wall is only going to take you so far. You got to add value to that. Whatever that degree was worth, when you graduated with it, don't let it continue to be worth the same thing, no matter what happens to it. Add something to that degree. And it don't have to be formal, right? It don't have to be go back to college. Nothing wrong with going back to college, but it doesn't have to be that. You can add skill sets to that. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I got this degree hanging on the wall, and that's because I went to school. But then now I've been working in this industry for 13 years, so now that's added value. So why are you still accepting the same thing? Now you got the degree you started with, plus you've got experience. So why is your experience not adding any dollar value to what you're worth? Why have you been in a network marketing company for 5 or 10 years and you're still at the same level? That means you got 10 years experience, but they're still paying you the same thing when you submit applications. That means when you bring somebody into the company and they sell, your override remains the same because you haven't changed what you're worth to that company because you haven't moved up the ladder. Or if it's a bad company, you haven't changed companies. If you've got experience, why aren't you worth more? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, on the suggestions of you all, I'm about to be closing out. So next week, right? And we're going to be getting into a series soon called Think Like a Business Owner, Act Like Your Industry. We're going to be going into that very soon. So value attracts wealth, increasing your value, streams of income, how many you should have and why. Creating value for your team, whether you supervise a team at your 9 to 5, Whether you got a team in network marketing, whether you got a real estate team, whether you got a gym and you as a fitness trainer, or whether you got a fitness training company, you got people who work through your fitness training company. It doesn't matter what it is. We're going to talk about creating value. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, to receive text message notifications, text mindset to 904-932-0622. That's 904-932-0622. And don't forget, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Thanks to you guys, I've got over 1,000 followers on Instagram. I know some of y'all probably like that ain't nothing, but it is to me. So thank you guys for that. I encourage you guys to continue to assist me in growing my Instagram and my Facebook and all those different things, LinkedIn, the whole deal. I definitely appreciate it. So I'm going to open it up. Go ahead and close this thing down here and open up, spend some time with you guys real quick before we close out. So you can unmute yourself. Should be able to unmute yourself. Let me go ahead and drop this slideshow real quick. All right. Anybody, any questions? You guys good over there? Thank you for loading the chat up. You guys did a great job tonight. Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Sharanda, for helping me in the background. It's been so peaceful with you doing everything.
There's a lot of great information.
Absolutely. Anybody, any questions, any comments before we close out?
Is there a way to view this again? I kept getting booted, so.
Oh yeah, it's recorded. Oh yeah, I always record it. So in a couple of days it'll get released as a recording, and it was also live on YouTube. So actually it's already on YouTube because I did it live on YouTube. So it's there's people actually looking at it on YouTube while I was running the whole time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought about going there because I kept getting booted out, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure why that was happening to you. Have you upgraded to the Zoom 5.0?
I have no idea about this Zoom. I just click on the link and it brings me here. I don't even know how to work it, really.
Gotcha. And that could be it. Normally when you go to Zoom, there should be a tab that pops up that tells you to download Zoom 5.0. That could be why. I don't know. It could have been the internet. It could have been anything. I'm just assuming. I'm just throwing some suggestions. I'm not sure really what happened, but I do know that they are suggesting that you download the 5.0.
Okay, I'll try that. My son is more advanced in it than I am, so he just updated his, so I'll have him look at mine.
Absolutely. Anybody else?
Mr. Dunbar, hi.
Yes,
this is
Ms. Barbara
Barbara.
Smith. What's up?
How are you? Thank you, sir, for so much that you do. I just wanted to share with you all the training that you're giving me. It's priceless. I couldn't afford it, regardless of how much money. I just wanted to share that with you.
I appreciate
Thank you so
that
very much.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, and that makes me feel. And that is some value right there, because I like to hear that I'm helping people. This stuff that I do on Wednesdays is always going to be free, so it's really about giving people. You always got to give back, and you always got to give back. So whatever I do for a living, I always do some of it free. That's why I know what my gifts are. You got to always know, if you're not willing to do it for free, not your gift. It's not your gift.
Thank you, sir. Still waiting on the book.
That's right.
Okay. Bye.
That's right. I'm just waiting for all this craziness, because timing is everything. And I cannot drop a book with all of this craziness going on, because nobody's gonna look at it. You know what I mean? We got protesting and they talking about defunding police and the election coming up, and the cases going back up for corona. Goodness gracious, like releasing the book right now, I'll be like, it's gonna be like dropping a penny in the ocean.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you got it. Anytime. Anybody?